once again thank the staff for all that they did to make this a successful recruiting class. And when I talk about the staff, I'm not just talking about the football staff, which is the coaches and our GAs and our analysts and personnel and our administrative assistants and all that, but really this is a big, gigantic, collaborative effort by everyone on this campus. And we could not do what we do from a recruiting standpoint without the help of our professors. You know, our professors come and they meet with the families and the recruits on Fridays, have lunch with us, sit down, explain programs to them, explain the support they're going to get. Ellen Tripp in our academic support spends countless hours with the families, with the recruits, talking about the individualized programs that we're going to provide them. And every person I talked to that came through here, whether they ended up coming here or not, just was overwhelmed by the academic support that Ellen and her staff provide. And so I just want to make sure I point her out. Our compliance department, they're in here on weekends, they're going over rules, they're doing presentations to the recruits and their families. Our facilities people, you know, we're asking them to come in here on weekends. There's, you know, a foot of snow out there, and they're sweeping they're vacuuming the rugs, and they're cleaning the windows, and they're making sure the steps look good, because everything's important. Our equipment department, they're setting up displays here, down at the rent, at all the meals that we do, just trying to put our best foot forward and everything. Our trainers and our athletic trainers and doctors, you know, they're giving these guys physicals. They're talking to them about their families about the process, how we take care of our players, how they'll be informed if there's injuries, second opinions, all those types of things. You know, Miss Pam up in our cafeteria, she's called upon like at a moment's notice to put together a meal. She never knows how many people are going to be there until the last second. She does an amazing job. It's always presentable. That's not something that everyone has, is a cafeteria, first of all, but someone like Miss Pam who does a great job. I mean, our travel department is stressed out always. Some of these kids, especially with the transfer portal era, are deciding in the morning that they want to be there, and we're getting them in by the afternoon, and that might be on a Friday night, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, and a Monday to Tuesday. So all hours they're called upon, and they do it. And then our players, you know, our players are really the biggest and the most important ambassadors for our program. And these guys come in and they host these players. They show them around the campus. They talk to them about their experiences here, what it's going to be like. They show them their dorms and all those things. And so I just want to make sure that those people understand, and everyone that's listening or watching or writing or reporting understands that this is more than just a coach going out and recruiting a player. It's about everybody. So it's a tremendous collaborative effort, and I believe that, you know, as we add this second group, it's going to turn out to be a successful class. And we face some challenges, I think, like any team does when it's a new staff. You're trying to learn each other as a staff, first of all. You're trying to profile players and what you're looking for at each position. You're hitting the ground running. You're out there building relationships. You're a little bit behind. But our guys came together very, very well and put together what I think is a good class. So to add on to the players that we talked about last time, I'll just introduce a few of these guys. Some are grad transfers and some are high school kids. But first, Tres. I want to make sure, he told me to roll the R. Tres Barboza. He is a transfer from UTEP. He's an offensive lineman. He has extreme position versatility. He can play probably all 5 positions. Probably projects more as an inside guy for us. Really a good young man. You know, what we're looking for in all of these people is, you know, high character individuals. Not just good football players, but high character individuals and guys that have football character, that love to play football. It was evident from the moment that we met Tres that he was that type of guy. He fits in well, he works hard, he has a great attitude. It's important to him to do things the right way, and we're really excited about him. He was awarded the Conference USA Commissioner's Honor Roll in 2021. So he's a smart kid, he's a student, and he takes things seriously. We added another transfer, Marquez Pembry from Kentucky. This guy's a 6'3", 245-pound linebacker. Projects for us as an outside linebacker. We'll be a 3-4, 4-3, multiple front team. He can do a lot of things well. He's got strong hands. He's violent at the point of attack. He's got great feet. When you watch him on film, you see some defensive back skills in terms of his footwork and his change of direction and things like that. So he's a guy that can rush the passer if we can get him matched up on a back. I think with his strength, his size, his explosiveness, that he's a guy that can give a running back some trouble in pass protection. So we're really excited about him. And, he's a winner. He's a guy that understands what it takes. I walk into our first team meeting on Monday morning, and he's sitting in the front row, right in the center. He's got his notebook out. He's ready to take notes. I think he's got great leadership qualities, and we're a very young team, and we need guys like this to come in and show young guys what it takes to be successful. We signed a freshman defensive back out of Georgia named Isaiah Davis. Isaiah, we're going to start him on defense. We think he's got tremendous defensive back skills, particularly as a corner. He's got excellent change of direction. The thing that caught my eye most about Isaiah was his ability to track and make a play on the ball. You'll see so many defensive backs as you evaluate guys that they've got speed, they've got quickness, they've got change of direction. But when it comes to the moment of truth where they have to make a play on the ball, at the ball, some panic and some just find the ball and make a play. And Isaiah is one of those guys that makes the play, and he's got length. We want to add size, we want to add length to this team at all positions. And this guy's a 6'1", 190-pound kid who can also play receiver, but he's going to start out on defense. I was really excited. When we came here, we said that we wanted to do an excellent job of recruiting this state and the best players in this state. And this next guy, Cam Edwards from Norwalk, was the New Haven Register and Game Time Connecticut Player of the Year. And I think he's a dynamic player. I've watched him a lot. I think he's equally adept at playing offense or defense. We will start him out at safety. I think he's got unique ball skills. There's some guys that are just like ball magnets. I think Cam's a ball magnet. He's got savvy, just a great attitude. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can do things with it. There's certain guys that you look at and they just, I guess you talk about the it factor. They just kind of jump out on you in film, and you get a certain feeling about. And he's one of these guys, and so I'm really excited that we could add, another Connecticut State Player of the Year to the roster. The first one being the Gatorade State Player of the Year in Victor Rosa. So that's a good thing for us. We felt like we needed to add some experience to this team, and in particular in the receiver room. We're a very young team. We have a transfer from ODU, Nigel Fitzgerald, who's a big kid. He's a 6'3", maybe almost 6'4", 210-pounder. He's got strong hands. He can run. He's athletic, and he's been here, working this week. And excited about him. He's a really good person, a really good player. An area of concern for us going into this year is the offensive line. And, we were able to sign Jack Goudon from Dartmouth, and he's a grad transfer from Dartmouth, and he's a starter there, and he's a man. He understands how to take care of his business. This is important to him. He has aspirations to go to the league. He's probably got the skill set to go to the league. He's a graduate of an Ivy League school. He understands the challenges here, and he's ready to show the way, and really excited about him. He's an interior guy. If you were to project him to the NFL level, he'll be a center. And it's my prediction that he'll be an NFL center just when you match his size, his skill set, and his intelligence and his personality and the standard he holds himself to. This guy's going to be a really impactful player for us in ways that aren't always evident on the field. We will see in the building the impact he's having on younger players, and I think that'll help us in many, many ways. I wasn't able to announce last time Matt Hoffman. His NIL or NLI came in a little bit late, but Matt is in high school he was a tight end, defensive end. He's from Cheltenham, Pennsylvania. He's about a 6'4" plus. think he's up to 220, 225 now. So he's got some developing to do. We're going to play him at defensive end. We think eventually this young man's going to be, a 6'5", 275-pound guy that can wreak havoc off the edge and can hold up at the point of attack in the run game. He's working hard to get heavier. He's working hard to get stronger. Tremendous young man. Really excited about him. So I wanted to make sure we went back and announced him. And then Will Knight, explosive running back from Delaware. He'd been at Old Dominion. He's bounced around a little bit, and I really believe he's found a home here. He's not tall, but he's thick. He's big, and I don't. Someone says a guy's small. He's let's say he's 5'8", 5'9", but he's big. He's a 215-pound man with big old thighs, and he's powerful, and he's got great change of direction. A guy that values ball security, can catch the ball out of the backfield, can stand in there and pass protect, can get the tough yards, has elusiveness in the open field, has contact balance, and really excited about what Will's going to bring to us. This is a team that has some good running backs, and I don't think you can have enough good running backs. It's not like the old days where there's just one kind of workhorse. Now you've got to have a staple of guys that can go in there, do different things, perform different tasks, present different problems to the opponent, and Will gives us a really good football player in that room. We felt the need to get bigger and more physical on the interior defensive line. And we were fortunate to be able to recruit a young man, a transfer out of Old Dominion, Sequoia McDuffie. And this guy's a 6'5". Right now he's about 320. Nose tackle, 3 technique, 4-eye, guy that can kind of do all those things. He's got strong hands, he's got length, but he can bend, he's powerful, he can take up blocks, he does have some pass rush ability, but the thing that stuck out most to me when I watched him on film was the effort that he played with. At 6'5", 320 pounds, sometimes you'll see a guy, when the play looks like it's going the other way, you can see a little bit of change in speed. They take their foot off the gas a little bit. But when you watch Sequoia play, you don't see that. You see a guy that just plays hard all the time, whether he's at the point of attack or he's chasing. We added a young man named Lee Millette from Nashville, Tennessee. Once again, kind of like Isaiah Davis, he was a guy that was a two-way player in high school. He's about 6'3". It says here 180. He's about 185 now. We're going to play him at defensive back, start him out at corner. Once again, he's a guy with length, and as I said with Isaiah, tremendous ball skills. He finds, he tracks, he catches, he makes plays on the ball, and that's critical. So we're excited about him. With all these young guys that have that position versatility, there are always opportunities for them to play both ways. Now we'll never overload them. We want them to master a position, but if a kid is multi-talented and can help us win a football game with a few snaps here and a few snaps there, or primarily on offense, a little bit on defense, or vice versa, and then we're going to explore all those options. And Lee's another guy that can do those things. He can stretch the field on offense. Boy, this is an interesting one. This next guy, Nico Pohahua. I got that right. We just met him really this weekend, and he's already in school. He had applied when we started talking to him. He'd applied to UConn. He was accepted. He's a transfer. He started his career at University of Colorado. Then he went back and he was at City College of San Francisco, and now he's a UConn Husky. He's an offensive lineman, 6'5", about 280. Tremendous young man, very serious. He's a winner. Football is very important to him. He's going to add a lot of value to that room. I can't tell you what position he's going to line up at yet, because he's got the length that you're looking for at tackle. It's all going to depend on, where, as we put that puzzle together up front, where the best 5 guys fit together are, and that's where Nico will be. A guy that you've all written about and talked about, but Taquan Roberson, okay, and that's how it is. It's Taquan, and it's Roberson, transfer quarterback from Penn State, DePaul Catholic High School in Orange, New Jersey. This kid's a winner. Okay, we've already seen it. We've already seen him step on the field, organize groups to throw on Saturdays and Sundays, getting his teammates together, galvanizing the locker room, building that relationship with the running backs, the center, the receivers. He's a serious kid, really excited to have him a part of this group. You know, we felt like we needed to add some competitiveness and some talent and some maturity to the quarterback room, and we've done that with Taquan, so I'm really excited about him. You know, once again, kid's a state champ at a really good high school, so he's got that winner's mindset. Another local kid, a young man that could play a variety of positions depending on where his body goes, but Prince Samuels from Windsor, and you know, he's listed here at 6'3", 205. He measured and weighed 6'4", 210 this weekend. He's playing basketball right now, so he's not lifting weights. You know, he's concentrating on helping his team do well on the court. Once the basketball season's over, then he'll get in an intensive weight training program. You know, when you look at Prince, you just see a guy who's not played a lot of football in his life. He's primarily been a basketball player, but once again, he's got length. You know, he's got athleticism. He's got a great attitude, great personality. He's a competitor. You know, he loves to go against the best every single day. We're going to start him out at linebacker, you know, like an outside linebacker type guy. You may see him playing some H-back on offense. You may see him grow into a defensive end. All I know about this kid is he's a hell of an athlete, and he's a local talent. We're excited to have him on our team, and I think that as he goes through his career, his body is going to take him where it takes him, and we're going to make sure we utilize his ability and his competitiveness. Once again, adding to the quarterback room was important, and when you're looking at quarterbacks, there are certain things that you're looking for beyond height, weight, speed, and numbers, and you know, the intangibles. You know, football character. Is the guy a winner? Is he a great decision maker? Is he a leader? And we signed Zion Turner out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Florida. It's one of the premier programs in this country. He won 3 state championships. He won, you know, I call it a mythical national championship because I don't know that we can anoint any high school team as a national champ. There's probably about 15 schools out there that are saying we're the national champs this year. But all I know about this kid is this. Is a 3-year starter at one of the premier programs in the country. Is 37-2. In his life as a football player playing quarterback, he's lost 5 games in his life. Okay, we went back and counted on the home visit. All right, and like his personality is infectious. You know, you go into that school and you know that's where the Bosa brothers went. That's where Michael Irvin. I mean, it's incredible, and there's some great players, and they all just like percolate right around him, and that's what you're looking for, especially in your quarterback. And then we signed a long snapper. You know, we need a long snapper on scholarship. We want someone that's experienced, that we can count on, that's dependable, that's trustworthy, that's consistent. And we signed Tommy Zosas, and he was at FIU, and he's a young man from Florida. He's really excited about playing in some snow. Actually, he said he is. He told me, he goes, I'm excited to get in the snow. I'm like, okay, good for you. But, you know, the thing that you're looking for in a long snapper is besides a guy that can get it consistently back to the punter, hopefully more often get it back to the holder, whether it's a field goal or a PAT, is someone that's consistent. But you're also looking for somebody that can run down the field on a punt and make a tackle or make the returner change direction and divert so when we swarm, you know, we can be effective, and Tommy can do those types of things. So, you know, we still have work to do. The portal is ever evolving. I mean, it's unbelievable, really, kids going in at any point in time. We think that in May, after, you know, everyone's completed spring ball, there'll be a whole new, you know, batch of kids entering the portal, and we're going to be, you know, hunting high and low and trying to find young men that fit our profile, that have the attributes that we're looking for, and that are good football players that we can add to this team and add to this university and add to this state. So, but right now, we're happy. We're not satisfied. we'll probably never be satisfied. So, any questions? I would love to answer them.
Jim, can you expand a little more on the quarterback situation and what you're looking for there? What type of quarterback you envision for what you want to do, and how these guys kind of fit that?
Well, I was really fortunate in my career to be with some guys that are, kind of, I guess you'd say, quarterback gurus. Bill Walsh and Mike Holmgren would be the two names that I'd bring up, and Steve Mariucci as well. And there were certain attributes that they always looked for in a quarterback, and they coached some pretty good ones. But number one is leadership ability. And leadership is not words, it's action. And when you talk about, Tyler, or you talk about Krajewski, or you talk about Taquan, or you talk about Zion, and I can't talk about the other one, but there's another one that's coming in. They're all leaders, and you see it in the way that they act, and you see it even more so in the way that people react to them. So we want great leaders. Number two, you have to be a great decision maker. Okay, a great quarterback is always going to be a great decision maker. And that's not just on the field, but off the field as well. But talking about on the field is, number one, most valuable asset out there is that ball, right? And so knowing when to concede a play, and we don't use the word concede often, but concede a play, take a sack, make the right decision in reading the coverage and distributing it to the right guy on time, on target, anticipating. So great decision maker. You have to have accuracy as a quarterback. And certainly all of these guys are at different levels right now in terms of their development with regards to accuracy, but we all believe that they will be accurate passers. So much of accuracy is tied to footwork. And Coach Charlton will work really hard on their footwork and get their footwork down. As their footwork improves, their accuracy will improve. And as their understanding of the offense improves, their accuracy will improve. As their understanding of the players they're throwing to improves, their accuracy will improve. Third thing is mobility, or fourth thing, mobility. You've got to have mobility. Now, mobility doesn't mean that you're a runner, okay? And certainly we want guys that can make yards with their legs, but mobility is the ability to move in the pocket and make a throw down the field, find the throwing lanes, make a throw down the field, move outside of the pocket, remain a threat as a passer or a run, make a play down the field with your arm, or get us enough yards for the first down, and understand, which goes back to decision-making, that you need to get down or get out of bounds and not take hits because we need you. And then arm strength. And it's funny that you talk about arm strength, but it's a little bit down the list because you've got timing, you've got accuracy. If you understand the offense, if you can anticipate, then arm strength's not the most important thing, but you have to be able to deliver the ball. You have to be able to spin that thing and make all the throws. And we think all these guys have got those attributes. We want competition. All right, competition is going to raise the level of play amongst all of these young men. So it's going to be really fun, and two of them won't be here for spring, okay? And that's Zion and one I can't talk about, but the others will start. Well, they're already competing, okay? And it's going to be really fun to watch those guys grow. And I think out of that we're going to get a tremendous quarterback. But I can tell you this, we're also going to utilize the abilities of all of these guys. All right, so that's what we're looking for.
Do you believe in playing two guys with maybe different skill sets? As a lot more teams seem to do that.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe in that yet. All right, that's not something that I've done. But I'm not saying that it's not something we won't do. We're always going to make the decisions that are best for this team. Our decisions are not always going to be based on what we've done, because we're always trying to get better. The one thing that I know that we need to have is a consistency on offense. So if we are able to maintain a consistency, if we're able to create problems for the defense, if we're able to function well with multiple players at that position, then that's something we'll consider. If we're not, then no. I think, Dom, in an ideal world, you'd want one guy, but this is college football, and as you said, it's ever-changing, so we have to be ready to change with it.
This program obviously has had a lot of success, and you're a new coach. So how did you go about selling the program to recruits and coaches?
Well, it wasn't just, first of all, I don't know that we wanted to, we didn't use the word sell. And I mean, I'm sure it slipped out of our mouths, but it was like present the vision of what we are going to become and how you fit into that plan. And, all those people I mentioned at the start, they were all part of that process of selling this vision. And really, you see, I used to use the word sell, okay? Presenting this vision to the families and the recruits. And when you've got a professor that's coming in on a Saturday, all right, when they can be home with their family, and they're sitting down with these kids, and they're talking about the business school and how they teach and their philosophy, that's impressive, Not every school does that. And when you walk up into the cafeteria, and Miss Pam, she takes great pride in that place, and the white tablecloths are out, and there's flowers, and everything looks great. You're just presenting, who you are and what you're going to be, and the way you speak to these kids, and she's just amazing. You got a custodial crew and our facilities crews that are coming in at 2 in the morning on a Friday night, or I guess a Saturday morning. They're cleaning this place up, so when the recruits walk in, it just looks spotless and fresh. It's just all those things go into selling the university. So it's just always about all of us and our vision. Is that answering your question, or you need? Okay.
Besides the obvious, they're asking about playing time. What do they want to know about the program as far as moving forward? Everybody wants to be part of the winner.
Right. Well, we need to first of all present a plan for them, for their success on and off the field. So obviously on the field, how we're going to use them, how we're going to coach them, where we see them playing. Nothing is given, everything's earned, and they understand that. Nobody's guaranteed a starting position. You may say, hey, listen, you'll come in and day one you'll be the starter, but every day you have to earn that. It's not guaranteed. We talked to them about the offensive or defensive scheme, and why they fit into it. We talked to them, obviously, about the other parts of their life, the academic, the life after football. This building kind of presents itself so well. I mean, I haven't been in a lot of facilities that can match this, but they want to hear all that. And the parents mostly want to hear about how you're going to take care of their kid. How you're going to push them. How you're going to coach them, how you're going to love them, how you're going to make sure if they get homesick, you take care of them. They want to go in our training room. They want to know if my son suffers an injury, how you're going to take care of him, how you're going to rehab him, how you're going to make sure it's safe for him to return to play. So it's a gigantic, huge, ongoing effort. There's never one thing that sells it or doesn't.
Jim, what is your criteria for having a successful recruiting season?
Wins, graduation, success after football, lack of drama, no off-the-field problems, team pulling together for each other, and then, wins. Going out and putting a product on that field, a group of men on that field that the fans, the students, the university, the community, the state, the nation wants to watch, because they play with passion and energy and discipline and toughness, and you can tell they're playing together for each other and for their teammates and for their university and for their state. It's just freaking jumps off the field at you, whether you're in the stadium or you're watching at home. That's what we want.
Jim, transfer portal aside, what have we developed in terms of the last time you were a college coach recruiting a class to now your first class here at UConn? What has shifted in your mindset of what you're looking for in the play?
Not a lot shifted. There's always going to be certain attributes, physical, and then there's going to be intangibles that I'm looking for, that we're looking for. But anytime you put a staff together and you're starting to head in a direction, you really have to have a clear understanding of what the profile needs to be for each particular position. What are the attributes you're looking at for each particular position based upon what you're going to do offensively, defensively, on special teams? And so, you know, you're always projecting, especially when you're recruiting high school kids, because like I said several times, we're not sure where their bodies are going to take them. We just know they're really good players, that are great athletes, that are going to, you know, help us win games. But you really have to have a clear understanding of what you want to be. And when you look at a guy, a player, you say, is that guy capable of being one of the guys standing on the podium when we lift up the trophy? Does he look like that guy? Can he be one of those guys? And if he does, then you go after him. If you're like, I don't know, then you probably don't. You know, do you want him standing on the podium next to you? Is he going to help you get to the podium?
Jim, when you look at a prep school kid, how do you examine, analyze what they could do at that next level? That's kind of the deal of recruiting, isn't it?
It's really interesting because you got your high school kids that are really a projection, a lot of times, not always. Some kids are, you know, they've really defined themselves. And then you got your prep school kids that, you know, they've got that extra year, and then you got your transfers. So you're recruiting players at 3 different levels of development. What I enjoy about the prep school kid is I know they're used to living away from home in most cases, not all cases. I know that they're goal-oriented, okay, because whatever took them to that prep school, all right, there was an opportunity for them to go one way or another, whether it was, you know, towards a path of success or towards a path of maybe, you know, lack of success, and they chose to go to a prep school. I know they've probably been coached hard, and once again, they're just a year further along in their physical development and their mental development. And so it just seems to be a little bit easier to project those kids as players and as people than a high school kid. And then what's great about recruiting out of the portal is that we get to watch them play college football. We get to turn on the film and watch them play against the best competition in the country. You know, these kids, you watch a kid like Marquez Pembry, he's playing in the SEC. So I can turn on film and watch him compete against the national champions this year and see how he did, or last year and see how he did. And so that's an easier projection. The toughest projections are most often the high school kids that, you know, you look at their frame, but you look at these giant hands, but they got skinny forearms and skinny arms, but broad shoulders. Like, where's this kid gonna go? You know, so. But you can find talent. You can recognize talent.
Jim, can you update us at all on Tyler's rehab from his knee surgeries? When do you anticipate him being cleared for football?
You know, I don't really ever like to put time frames on return to play, but I'll tell you this: he's doing really well. He's moving around well. We're very hopeful, and he's working towards, you know, being able to do some things in spring. We're certainly going to protect him. So, you know, it may start out as some light throwing on the side, and eventually move maybe to some 7-on-7. The one thing I think is critically important is that Tyler is as close to full strength when we start our summer training as he can be. And so, you know, between Tyler and our medical staff, you know, we'll decide what the best course of action for him is. So, you know, it's delicate. You push him as hard as you can, but you just don't want to. You don't want to put him in a situation where he can get re-injured or he can stunt his, you know, the progress that he's made.
You see you guys use kind of husky revolution a lot. Can they kind of explain what that means to you and what's behind that?
You know what? You see it, but I really, it's an internal thing, and not to be coy. It's just, it's kind of for the team. Now we put it out there because the recruits hear it, but it's kind of our deal. It's kind of our deal, and we just want to keep it our deal.
Is that something you've kind of done in the past, as far as like kind of have a catchphrase or something?
Yeah, I've done it in the past. It's really just a focus for us as a team, as a group of men.
But you, as far as, at least for this class, your needs that you get, fulfilling all your needs, at least for now?
For right now, yes, but for 5 minutes from now, no. We're never going to stop looking for talented young men that, you know, as I said, fit the profile, character-wise, and every other area to come in here and help us. And, you know, it used to be a time when, okay, it's signing day, take a breath. But with the portal, it's just not like that, you know? Someone will pop up today, believe it or not, you know, and we'll be on them, and we'll be looking at their film, and we'll be talking about May with them. And so things have really changed in recruiting. I mean, they've changed dramatically with this portal. And, you know, you talk about, you know, I was talking earlier about our academic support, our compliance people and all that. You know, you got a kid like Nico who's here on a Friday and a Saturday, and he leaves on a Sunday, then he comes back on a Monday and he starts school. Well, that's not just him. That's Ellen, and that's Will, and that's Eric in compliance, you know, doing all they can to make sure he's eligible to start class. It's crazy. I mean, it's wild, wild west time out there.
Jim, was Taquan the type of name that as soon as you, I don't know if maybe you had some familiarity with him earlier, as soon as you saw that name pop up, that's something you want to check on? Is that how that worked?
Yes. I didn't have a lot of familiarity with him. I mean, I knew who he was because I followed recruiting in those years when I was at ESPN, so I did know who he was. He was a four-star kid out at, you know, one of the best high schools in the country in a great football state. And when he popped into the portal, it was like, ooh, this is a guy we need to try to connect with immediately. And fortunately, we were able to do that. And I think that E.J. Barthel, who has that state and had known him, and Nick, they just did a really good job with him and connecting with him. And we were able to get him down here and you know, show him what the plan would be for him. And I'll tell you what, he's a really good kid now. He's impressive.
Jim, how's your background in the NFL, previously in college, help you analyze the holdovers you have on the roster when you got here? What was the mindset in that?
Well, I don't know that it's the NFL. I'll tell you one thing. I look at everything through the eyes of like an NFL evaluator when it comes to evaluating. It's harder, obviously, at this stage of development, but you know, we're going to coach them like they're NFL players. You know, every kid that walks in here has a dream of playing in the league, and we're going to do all we can to help them to achieve that dream. Because if a lot of those guys are achieving that dream, then that means we're probably having a lot of success. That's a tough question for me, like how exactly it does. I guess, you know, the standard I've always lived by is the NFL standard, which is the best of the best, and we want the best of the best. And that's what we're going to go after, always. We're not, you know, I talked about a quarterback conceding the play. That, you know, hopefully that's the only time you hear me say the word concede. You know, we're going to go try to get the best. And with these players that are on this roster right now, you know, I look at them as, you know, what is their role in helping us, you know, hoist a trophy? What's their role going to be? Not everyone's going to be a superstar. Not everyone's going to be a playmaker. You know, saying is this, is that, you know, you want to populate your team with a bunch of guys that it's more important for them to be the best player for the team than the best player on the team. So we're kind of looking at it that way. Anything else?
I'm just curious, is your plan for the spring, kind of how you handle that, the spring football and everything?
Okay, that's great. Yeah, this is a good time to talk about that. So we will start, our spring ball will start March 21st, which is a Monday with meetings. Our practices will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 a.m. and then Saturdays at different times. You know, some will be open. I don't think a lot of people will be getting out of bed at 6 to come watch us practice at 7 a.m., but they may be. Who knows? But, you know, we're going to try to practice outside as much as we can, weather permitting, so that if people want to get out and watch us, they can. It's hard to accommodate a lot of people on the indoor on those days that we're not allowed to get outside. But we'll go Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7, Saturdays, you know, usually 10:30, but we're going to have an evening practice as well. Our spring game is going to be on April 22nd. We are going to have a spring game. It's going to be like a Friday Night Lights blue and white game. Time to be announced, location to be announced. Most likely will be on campus. Had thought about going to the Rent, but you know, we can't necessarily predict the weather, and we don't want to make it a situation where we can't have a productive practice. That spring game, you know, we're going to encourage everybody to come. We're going to have it at a venue where we can the people that are interested in UConn football or maybe think they might be interested can come out and see what their team's looking like. Anything else? All right. Hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Appreciate the questions. Yes, we are going to have a pro day on March 15th. We are going to have a pro day. Typically, our pro days, just because we have to respect that these players are, need to be so dialed in, we don't make the pro day open to the public nor to members of the media, but we get you all the information. We'll have footage and things like that, but we try to create an environment where they can really just stay locked in and focused. Fans, if their parents come in, they'll watch. We have a viewing area upstairs in the weight room that they can watch. We'll get our players around, but we kind of try to limit it to that, just out of respect for the players and the scouts that are all trying to do their job. So, okay? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, and ladies.